Hello and welcome to Procontation Points Video Snark. I read bad books so that you don't have to. I'm continuing my review of Shatter Me by Tahereh Mafi. At the first video, go check out the others, links are posted below, Chapter 13. After dinner, Warner takes Juliet back to her room, seeing as how Adam has disappeared already. As they're going, he says this. "I don't want you to hate me," Warner says as we make our way towards the elevator. "I'm only your enemy if you want me to be." This dude literally told Juliet that he locked her up for 9 months to see how she'd react. And the second that she's free, it's only on the condition that she help them. And by the way, we still don't really know who these guys are or what they want Juliet for that matter. And since I'm on the topic, we still don't know what Juliet can do that makes her think that she's a danger to society and others. Juliet continues to refuse to have anything to do with these people, as I think anybody would do in this situation, even without context. Like, you can't just lock people up for close to a year and then be surprised that they want nothing to do with you. Juliet then asks for Warner's first name. He agrees only under the condition that she show him her power. She refuses, stating that she doesn't want to touch him, but he says that he doesn't exactly need her permission and that it's not like she would be the one hurt here. Warner then calls over a random guy and asks that he take Juliet back to her room, but warns that she doesn't want to be here and will likely bolt. However, exactly as Warner had anticipated, Juliet does just that the second she's 2 steps away from the guy, except that all of these guards line up ready to stop Juliet despite her not wanting to hurt anybody, because Juliet is really stupid apparently and doesn't realize an obvious trap when she sees one. She tells the guard not to touch her, but they do anyway, and then she's like, it's really hard to tell even what's happening. Obviously, there's immense pain, but I'm getting the sense that she's draining the life from them. Like everything else, the writing is about as clear as mud during this interaction. Juliet shoves the man off from her and is in hysterics because of what happened. Warner tries to calm her down and she screams over and over for the man to get medical help, which, you know what would totally convince somebody to join our side? Forcing them to torture another person when it's clearly a cause of great emotional distress for them. Works like a charm. All the sarcasm. Chapter 14. Juliet had passed out at the end of the previous chapter, or somebody drugged her. As you can imagine, it's difficult to tell with this writing sometimes. Warner is there and he says that she's in his room, which it doesn't reek of him doing untoward things to her while she was unconscious or anything. He also refuses to let her leave the room. Finally, Juliet calls him out on his nonsense. "Your soldiers beat me. You keep me in here like a prisoner. You threaten me. You threaten to kill me. You give me no freedom, and you say you care about me?" At least somebody finally said it. She goes on and says that he only wants her around so that she can kill people. He says that he doesn't need her to kill people and that he knows how to kill just the right amount of people so that everybody else falls in line. Warner, for his part, turns the table and asks why Juliet waited so long to disengage the guard from her person. When Juliet refuses to answer this directly, he laughs and makes all of these promises towards her. He then tells her to eat, that it was probably why she fainted earlier, and refuses to let her go back to her own room to sleep. Which, again, this entire situation of Warner keeping Juliet locked up in his own room speaks of him abusing her in a way worthy of an episode of Law & Order SVU. Chapter 15. We open this chapter with suicide. Oh boy, here we go. Somebody once asked Juliet why it is that she didn't kill herself. Up until that point, she never really thought of just giving up, but she'd also been living on this blind optimism that if she was the perfect everything, then her parents would suddenly start loving her. And I get that she was a literal child and everything, but at the same time, honey, if they suddenly started giving you affection, it would continue to be conditional for the rest of their lives. And that's not exactly the kind of love anybody should ever want. Although I also admit that somebody who was routinely told stuff like, "Why don't you kill yourself?" literally any sort of affection would probably be better than nothing. Thankfully, that was just a minor flashback Juliet mused upon for literally a single paragraph. Back to the actual plot now. Juliet wakes up to Warner standing over her. His breath is cool and fresh in the crisp morning air. I can feel it on my face. Ew. It's called personal space, dude. As Warner takes Juliet back to her room, they pass by a lot of guards, and every single one of them looks at Juliet with horror. She asks Warner if he made her touch the poor man on purpose to send a message to everybody that she's not to be messed with. Warner agrees and seems to allude to some grand plan of his. However, Juliet doesn't exactly see things the way Warner does. She only sees how many people he stepped on to get where he is, and that by showing everybody exactly what Juliet can do, he's probably painted an even bigger target on her back. People would sooner take Juliet out than to have to deal with her. Warner takes her back to her room and orders her to change out from her stinky prison clothes and says that he'll be back in an hour. My heart is a water balloon exploding in my chest. My lungs are swinging from my ribcage. For sure, we've already reached the point where I'm probably not even going to comment on every weird thing that Juliet's body is doing. There's only so many times I can say WTF. Adam is standing guard in her room for some reason. Why do you need to guard a room that you know is empty? Anyway, he's kind of wary of her, and she knows that he saw her hurt the other guard. Juliet is worried about Warner punishing others for Juliet's disobedience, and I get that she doesn't want others to get hurt, but at the same time, Warner was probably going to find some other excuse to hurt them anyway, so it doesn't even matter what Juliet does or doesn't do. Adam unlocks her bedroom and orders her to put on a certain dress. She decides that she's going to be the perfect mannequin, which, okay. Chapter 16. Juliet is full of rage over being ordered to change, but as she pulls a specific dress down from the wardrobe, she can't help but wonder why Adam is so set on her wearing that exact dress. She then discovers something hidden in the wardrobe and moves so that the cameras won't be able to see her. On the floor, she finds her notebook from the prison. She hides it in her dress and goes to the bathroom where she thinks that Adam was trying to give her a message. In the bathroom, she flips through the notebook to make sure that everything is there. On the last page, she finds a message from Adam. It's not what you think. Juliet is happy and realizes that Adam must have hidden the notebook in the pocket of the dress, which is why he wanted her to wear it, but it must have fallen out at some point. When Warner comes back to get her, Juliet randomly jumps to the conclusion that he must have tortured Adam. I'm not even going to get into her magical Mary Sue guessing powers at this point, especially because the narration quickly moves on. They leave the room where Juliet tries to make a joke about feeling sorry for Warner's mother for having such a louse of a son, but she fails to deliver the punchline properly and it falls flat. Warner takes her somewhere where he says, "Welcome to your future," but we'll find out what that means next time. Thanks for listening to my book Snark on YouTube. New videos are up every Monday, but stick around because sometimes I drop random videos on other days too. Just as a reminder, even if you can't financially support me, there are other ways to support me. The first is watching this video as well as all of my other videos. It's also important to like and subscribe. Finally, you can share this video with all of your friends so that they can help as well. If you're already caught up with all of my videos, you can go to Tumblr for my main book Snarks, always free and updated every morning. And if you've already read all of my main Snarks, then you can find even more Snarks on my Patreon. You can access it for $1 a month. Plus, you also get early access to my main Tumblr Snark. Special thanks to Dawn, Phoebe, and Nikki for supporting me on Patreon already. If you want to hear your name in my video next week, either support me on Patreon or make a one-time donation. Do you like my Snark so much that you want me to snark your writing? I do that too. For just $3 per chapter, I will tell you how awful that your writing is. But not to worry if you feel like you couldn't take the criticism. I also offer regular book editing as well. $3 for every 5,000 words. You can contact me on any of my social media platforms if you have further questions. If you want to read some of the things that I've written, you can purchase my works on Amazon. I have a slew of erotic short stories and one full-length novel. I also sometimes run flash sales on my stories, and if you don't follow me on any social media, you might want to do that just so you know when I might be offering more things for free. Links for everything will be posted below. See you next week, guys.